North America. 1757, a continent in flames. Two empires, Britain and France, are tearing each other apart across thousands of miles of untamed wilderness. But the real war is not fought between generals. Not between flags. Not between cannons. The real war is fought in the darkest forests on earth, by men who move like shadows and kill like lightning. And somewhere in those forests, two young women ride toward the most dangerous place in the world. They do not know it yet. But they are about to be hunted, and the only thing standing between them and death is the last survivor of a vanishing people. Their names are Cora and Alice Munro. The daughters of a British colonel deep in the heart of enemy territory. Cora is dark-haired, strong, fearless. She looks at the world with open eyes. Alice is blonde, gentle, fragile. She looks at it with her heart. They ride through the wilderness of New York to find their father at Fort William Henry. Their escort is a young British officer named Duncan Hayward. Brave. Loyal. Completely unprepared for what lies ahead. Their guide is a Huron warrior named Magua. Silent. Watchful. Smiling just a little too much. Something is wrong. The trail Magua leads them on goes deeper and deeper into the forest. Far from the fort. Far from safety. And then, from the trees, three figures appear. A tall man dressed in buckskin. A long rifle in his hands. Eyes that miss nothing. His name is Nathaniel, called Hawkeye. A white man raised in the wilderness. A scout without equal. Beside him stands Chingachgook. A Mohican warrior. The last chief of a people nearly erased from the face of the earth. And Uncas, Chingachgook's son. Young. Silent. Moving through the forest the way water moves through stone. Hawkeye looks at Magua. Then at the trail. Then back at Magua. And he says, calmly, without raising his voice, "This man is not taking you to your father." Magua runs. Vanishing into the trees like smoke. And in that moment, everything changes. The hunt has begun. Hawkeye leads them deep into the wilderness. Through rivers. Across cliffs. Into a hidden cave behind a waterfall where the roar of the water swallows every other sound. They sleep in turns. Every shadow could be an enemy, every sound could be the last sound they ever hear. But Magua has not forgotten them. He has gone to his people, the Hurons, and returns with an army. At dawn, the attack comes. Sudden. Overwhelming. Hawkeye fights with everything he has, but there are too many. He looks at Cora and says, "Run. Reach your father. We will find you." Then he throws himself into the river and disappears. And Cora, Alice, and Duncan are captured by Magua and the Hurons. Marching silently through the forest, Magua finally speaks. He looks at Cora and reveals the truth. He does not want ransom. He does not want gold. He wants revenge against Colonel Munro, Cora's father, who once had him publicly whipped and humiliated. His offer is simple and cold. "Come with me willingly as my wife, and your sister goes free." Cora says nothing. But her eyes say everything. Hawkeye finds them. Of course he finds them. He moves through that wilderness the way other men move through their own homes. He, Chingachgook, and Uncas attack. They free the prisoners. Fighting their way to Fort William Henry. But the fort is surrounded. The French army, 15,000 soldiers strong, has it completely besieged. Colonel Munro holds out for days. Waiting for British reinforcements that never come. At last, he surrenders. The French General Montcalm promises safe passage. He gives his word as an officer and a gentleman. His word means nothing. As the British soldiers and their families leave the fort, Magua's Huron warriors fall upon them from every side. A massacre. Women. Children. Soldiers. cut down in the open field. And in the chaos, Magua takes Cora and Alice once again and disappears into the forest. Hawkeye does not hesitate. He follows. Through miles of wilderness. Through enemy territory. Through every danger the forest can create. Because that is what Hawkeye does. He never abandons those under his protection. Never. Not once. They find the Huron village. Uncas enters alone, disguised, to find the women. He is discovered. Captured. Condemned to die. But before they can kill him, he opens his shirt. On his chest is a small blue turtle tattoo. The mark of the Mohican chief. Even the Huron warriors fall silent. The last Mohican stands before them, unbent, undefeated. Hawkeye attacks. The battle that follows is desperate, brutal, beautiful, men who know the forest better than their own names moving through it at full speed. They free Duncan. They pursue Magua into the mountains, higher and higher, along cliffs where a single misstep means falling into the abyss. And there, on the edge of the cliff, Magua makes his final move. He holds Cora at the edge of the precipice. He looks at Uncas. He knows the young Mohican will never let her die. Uncas leaps. One of Magua's warriors stabs him in midair. Uncas falls. Magua kills Cora. Then he tries to leap to safety across the face of the cliff. Hawkeye raises his rifle. One shot. Across an impossible distance. Magua falls. The forest goes silent. The wind moves through the trees. And on that cliff, everything is still. They bury Uncas and Cora together in the wilderness they both loved. Chingachgook stands beside his son's grave. The last Mohican chief. The last of his line. The end of a people. He speaks, and his words fall into the silence like stones into deep water. He says, I am alone. The fire of the Mohicans is extinguished. There is no one left of my blood. Hawkeye stands beside him. He places a hand on his shoulder. And says, You are not alone. As long as I live, you are not alone. The forest holds them both, the last of the Mohicans and the man who refused to leave his side. James Fenimore Cooper wrote this story in 1826. 200 years ago. And yet everything in it still lives. Still breathes. Still matters. Because this story is not really about the French and Indian War. It is not really about wilderness, battles, or pursuit. It is about something that is disappearing. Something beautiful and irreplaceable that passes from the world forever. And about two people who stand together at the end, when everything else is gone, and refuse to let each other fall alone into the darkness. This is the oldest story there is. And it will never stop being true. See you soon.